Raila Odinga could be a bit risky, and him even the president opting to give him the committee positions in parliament instead. There's definitely a general feeling from leadership in Mount Kenya region that they stand to lose a lot with the entry of ODM in government. You being a leader from that area, do you share in that concern that probably your region could be losing as ODM gains more seats and more positions in government?
In the event of scarcity, there is always the interest. There is always competition for scarce resources. And anybody will feel disadvantaged if, of course, we allow for more inclusion. But what I understand our government is supposed to do, our government is supposed to develop the entire country. It's not one region. And our government is supposed to share the much or little that there is across the country. Because the essence of electioneering is getting a unifying factor with the presidency, and therefore maybe appoint ministers from all over the country, PSs from all over the country, and other state officers. I mean the senior officers in the government. That's my understanding, if I may say so. Reflecting from what has been happening, and by the way, this advice was given then, it's not today. This advice was given, if I may read what I've picked from the papers is that it was given that time. But I don't think, the insinuation here is that that is what the government, the speaker probably relied on to give a ruling. And that is not the case. The case is that the ruling has its own content, and we all know. Now, coming back to Kenya, the broad-based government, and the issues that we've been dealing with as a country. What divides us is the need to be in government. Whoever loses continues fighting. Instead of accepting defeat and then moving on, and then looking for other ways and probably strategically positioning themselves as opposition, they want to continue fighting for the Bakians to get more, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with fighting, but sometimes we lose objectivity. And I like citing the bill that we lost last year. That bill, we did not lose it because it was a very bad bill. No.
Talk about finance bill.
The finance bill was not really an extremely bad idea. It was a good idea for Kenya. But then the one that we lost was the popular bill in the social media and even the mainstream media, because the mainstream media projected a totally different image. And people were unlearned, and they were fed with a lot of subversive information. Now, looking at how do we become a united country, every discussion that has ever happened in this country, every negotiation has always reflected on increased cost. There is no way you can unite the entire Kenya without increasing the cost. It is not possible. So adding 7 more PSs, if that gives us unity and enables the government to deliver to deliver its promises to the people, so be it. Look at BBI. It even pronounced more cost. The NADCO report pronounces more cost because it creates certain position. What is the driving force to all these initiatives, and even the previous initiatives before we even had the constitution? It is unifying Kenya as a country to be a unitary government without any, united people without any serious, position taken by different people.
It sounds very idealistic.
To what we had from 2007, 2008.
We don't live in utopia. You sound idealistic. You're saying about how united we should be. But there are serious concerns that ODM right now seems to be occupying too much space in the current administration. And my question to you was, do you share in those concerns that actually Mount Kenya region could suffer in some way if ODM continues to demand for more?
I think I would go back to the choice. The choice is made to come up with a broad-based government. The choice is made to come up with a broad-based government was to try and broaden the base, get more people involved in government. That was the choice that was made. And in getting more people involved, there are some dissenting voices, even from Mount Kenya. And that is why we have some casualties. We have some casualties from Mount Kenya, we have some casualties from other areas, we have some beneficiaries from other areas. But if you listen to Kenya today, it's a lot more peaceful than it was 2 months, 3 months ago. Why? Because people feel like there is inclusion. And I think we need to be asking ourselves more fundamental questions. Are we really mature as a democracy? Can we say the winner takes it all? It's not possible. There will always be squabbling. There will always... Now, the event that the Honorable and Dr. Makali Mulu spoke about was the celebration that was supposed to happen in Kitui. That celebration is going to happen still this year in Kitui. I think he has celebrated Mashujaa Day. Mashujaa Day is as much of a national event as the other event was. So if the region is not ready to receive, to host this particular event, even if the stadium is not ready, maybe it tells us the stadium was ready.
We are ready.
If there are other factors therein, and
it's not your time.
Based on such reports, if there is something that needed to be done, and probably it has just been identified as a critical issue, you wouldn't go there. First of all, you exercise precaution. You would first of all sort out the nitty-gritties before you go there. That's how to run a government, because you don't want opposition all over. Of course, you expect it. It's a stronghold. It's an opposition stronghold. You don't just go there and, assume and hope for the best. You can't do for the best when you know.
Do you get what Bwana Mutunga is saying? Do you get the hesitation to actually condemn the broad-based arrangement? On one hand, it says probably our democracy is not mature enough for us to have a winner takes it all. But he criticized a bit slightly that kind of formation, that the loser still comes back to claim more from government. But he's a bit hesitant to openly express his concerns about what the region he represents may stand to lose.
The truth of the matter is that, and we have said it many times, and actually it is the president who said it. It's not even us who are seated here. I remember in one of the interviews, I don't know which team was interviewing the president, and he said the problem with the immediate regime, which was Jubilee, was that they allowed